The time is just gone 9 minutes to 9, and it's the Crime Talk Weekly Edition with eThekwini Secure. Now, this morning we want to talk about complacency. And the question we want to raise is, have communities become complacent? Now, we know with so much playing out around us, affecting us, impacting on us, mainly and mostly, I would say, in a negative way. Yet we sit back, we relax, we complacent, we don't say anything about it, or if we do it on forums like community groups, like community WhatsApp forums. And one of the easiest things today is to become what is called a keyboard warrior, because this is exactly what we do. We will sit, we will complain, we will point fingers, we will have a go at each other, and we see it. It's nothing new, and I'm sure this is happening to many a community. And all of this, at the end of the day, leads to complacency. Yet we don't have this proactive approach. And this is the reason why we are talking with Mohammed Batman Ismail this morning. Mohammed, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You just mentioned keyboard warriors, and it just actually caused me to giggle a little bit. But if it was not for those keyboard warriors, the positive ones who brought things to the attention of the greater public and people like in the community police forums and other activists, in that we won't really get the information coming through. But then you get the negative keyboard warriors who complain and moan and groan and continue on the tirade that has absolutely no solution to. So it's on two sides, but you're absolutely right. And the complacency is even worse because we need to wake up the rip and winkles and the sleeping beauties in our communities, and they need to come out onto the streets and be more active in what is going on, working towards a sustainable solution. And if we sit behind locked gates and locked doors and everything else, we cannot achieve what we want to in the community. So again, a better, cleaner, safer, uh, well, unpolluted community starts with us as a community. And we should start taking note of that and working towards a better community. Wake up. That's what we want to say.
Well, this is where the problem comes in. And we know we always speak about social activism, we speak about community activism. But when we retreat into this mindset or into the state of complacency, at the end of the day, it's a lose lose situation all round. Because when you have the few that are not complacent, and you mentioned about the positive keyboard warriors and the negative keyboard warriors, at some point in time, does have some sort of an impact on the rest of the community, Mohammed?
Yeah, absolutely, it does, Inayat. But you see, if we don't take a stance as communities, if we don't do what we need to do, it's not going to happen. But I think people have also become tired of complaining, tired of saying, we don't have enough police on the street, tired of saying that the municipality is taking too long to address service delivery. So everything is now taken for granted, and we'll drive past something and not necessarily worry about what's going on. I mean, how often would you find it nowadays? I might be wrong, but I mean, there's a swathe of people who would come to assistance and would come out and do things, and the ones who are asleep, we need to activate that or wake them up and put loud alarm clocks and say, "Come on, guys, it's us." Because you have the same people dumping on the street corners, you have the same people complaining about issues, and it goes back down to grassroots level how we want to be as a community. So we need to take cognizance of the fact and look at all the negatives, look at all the positives, unpack it all, and have, even if we need to have a community convention without everybody want to be the boss, and if people start listening, we can't, all of us cannot be leaders standing on a platform and talking. We have others who have other skills, who can do other things, other activities. You have people who are writers, you have people who are in marketing and media, you have lawyers, you have doctors, and all of this we can come together and start creating positive community platforms and discuss these issues. Because there's this huge thing happening with the ratepayers at the moment, but it's one aspect of community development. There's so many different angles, social welfare, community upliftment, and keeping your streets clean. It's all up to us how we want to do it. So let's not pass the buck. Let's not pass the buck Because sometimes you find in the WhatsApp groups, like you were talking about community warriors or keyboard warriors in it, it's always, can somebody do this? Can somebody do this here? But empower yourself. For example, the municipality has an app. Download the app, report report a street light that's out, report a pothole, do that. And it's almost instant where you're going to get your reference numbers. So start doing things and not wait for someone else to do it. And that's where we need to really, really start at that level. Don't wait for someone else to do something. Grab the bull by the horns and do what you need to do.
Well, Mohammed, you speak about people are tired, and I think this is where the scary part is, or where the danger actually lies, when we find a social fatigue, a societal fatigue, actually creeping in, and then you just put your hands back and says, you know what, it's a lost cause. And for me, it's important that nothing is a lost cause. At the end of the day, something can be done, even if it is just a few. But at the end of the day, to adopt this attitude that, you know what, we're just sick, we are tired, we don't know who to go to, we can't complain anymore. And we just sit back. And this is where we're looking at a recipe for complacency and also a recipe for disaster.
Absolutely. And you know where that stems from also, I'll give you a very simple example. When I was a media man for a very long time until I left the industry, when I was a young reporter, the first story I had to do was to go to the police station and get the crime statistics. And I'm talking many, many years ago. And the first thing that the policeman told me then, the communications officer, the station commander, he said, there's nothing to be alarmed about. I said, okay, fine, I wrote the story. I went back to my editor. He says he's talking nonsense because look at the crime that's going on in the area. Now, you must remember that the police work according to statistics. So if there's one hijacking or two house robberies, statistically, it's not alarming. But if you have 10, 15, and then it becomes alarming. But one hijacking in your street is one too many for the community. And if it continues, across the board for years and years and years, and you don't have a solution with the same crimes happening in the same areas and it keeps on rotating, so the community says, hey, so what? So what? Now it's happening. We used to this here. So it's become a sort of culture where we've accepted the wrongs and we carry on with our lives. So we say, okay, fine, it happened. What are we going to do about it? And those social issues need to be addressed and overcome. When is it going to be overcome? I don't know. You can still walk into a police station today. I'll send a reporter in there if need be and ask the station commander what about the issue of a crime, and he's going to tell you the same bureaucratic answer. There's nothing to be alarmed about. But you're going to say, hey, listen, we have 3 home invasions. Of course, it's alarming. So the mindset, and I think the way we are conditioned to think and to accept these problems today, is it's in itself a problem.
Well, certainly is, Mohammed. But just Mohammed, just finally, looking at what can be done to basically overcome. What are some of the solutions? What should we be thinking about to overcome complacency creeping into societies and communities?
I think it's a bit of a difficult question to answer and a very broad question, because it starts with us as a person and individual in the household. And I always use this phrase, sustainable solutions. How do we achieve the sustainable solutions? It's through community development, community discussions, and to unpack those issues and to engage stakeholders. But those meetings have happened many, many times over, but the solutions are not coming through. Perhaps there needs to be a change in terms of leadership in government and other structures with people who can really do things. Perhaps it's going to work there because all we're having are talk shops. We talk, 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 and that's the end of the story. We don't see the solutions. But if the community needs to rise up, and you need to become the strong, active citizens. Take control of your streets. Take control of your street corners. Look at what's going on, and be hard activists in a process where you can achieve. But don't be confrontational with authorities. Work together and find those sustainable solutions. But like I said, it's a wide question. It's a difficult question to unpack, and it needs another discussion at another time.
Well, hopefully at some point in time we will have that discussion moment. But for now, Jazakallah khairan so much for your time. As always, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Mohammed Batman Ismail, and that brings us straight on to news on the hour. We've got Zahid Jedward standing by.